Hi, it's me, Daphne, and welcome to today's announcement video. I am officially going to be co-hosting Crystal's Ever After-a-thon, which is a historical romance readathon. Now, I have a lot of notes here on my laptop, so I'm going to be looking to the side just a little bit, and I want to make sure I give you all the correct information about this. It should be a fun, exciting way for us to connect as a bookish community, and I can't wait. First things first, this readathon will be happening from May 1st all the way to May 25th. Not the complete end of the month, it's actually ending on Crystal's birthday, which I think is cool. So in addition to that, this readathon has a bit of a competitive edge to it, so there are going to be 4 teams. I'll go more into the teams and which co-hosts are assigned to which team in a minute. This readathon, like I said, is a historical romance focused readathon, but you don't have to read historical romances to participate. There's going to be like challenges and points and stuff, which I'll get into. If you do read historical romances, just take note that you will get more points. I will go into detail on the points as we continue on. Another thing right off the bat I want you to know is that this readathon will be heavily hosted on Discord, so definitely join via the link down below. We're all going to be over there chatting it up, talking challenges, talking current reads, giving book recs, all that fun stuff. There is a Instagram account for this readathon as well. You can follow that if you like. Obviously follow all the co-hosts on Instagram if you want to be more involved with us. You can follow us all on YouTube as well. For YouTube, there are going to be live reading sprints and live shows. I'm not 100% sure what the live shows are going to be, but I imagine they're going to be more than just reading sprints, which is cool. So I might not be the best at organizing like a live show, but I'll hop on somebody else's and participate, you know what I mean? That is exciting. I'm curious to see what the other co-hosts or Crystal comes up with for shows, and I'll definitely be joining, hopefully on screen for a fair bit of them if you want to spend time with me live. Love that. Oh, and another thing about the live shows or reading sprints, that's open to everyone. Like, it's not just the co-hosts that can post on the Discord that they're going to be live. If you also create bookish content and you want to participate and host your own reading sprints for the readathon, feel free to post it in the Discord. I'm sure the community would love another excuse to read together, so feel free to host your own events for the readathon. And then the last a little bit of information I want to get out to you up front is that there's going to be a book tracker for the points. I'm pretty confident the book tracker, based on how you answer questions, should automatically figure out your points. There's a lot of like figuring out points. I think it will probably be, for the most part, automated, but obviously for your TBRs, you want to know how the points work so you can try to maximize your points if you can. So again, we'll talk points in a second. Next on the agenda is talking about the characters / teams and which co-hosts are on which teams, so you can decide who you want to give all your points to, okay? Also, the teams have certain tropes and subgenres that affect how many points you can get, so you might want to base it off those as well. But we'll talk about the co-hosts first. So my team is the Cinderella team. I am a co-host with Fifi. Then we have the Governess team, which is run by Hope and Amber. Next, we have the Traveler team, which is Bia and Tara. And then lastly, we have the Pirate team, which is April and Monika. So let me get into the team characteristics, which affect how you collect your points. And if these things are like tropes or subgenres that you enjoy, maybe it'll determine which team you want to be on, beyond like picking your favorite co-host. So the Cinderella team subgenre is fairy tale retelling, and then our 2 tropes are class difference and masquerade ball. Next, we have the Governess team with their subgenre being gothic / dark romance. Their 2 team tropes are forbidden love and second chance. Moving on to the Traveler team, their subgenre is time travel romance, which to me is hard. I don't think I've really read any time travel romance. Obviously there's like Outlander, but I haven't gotten to that yet. But anyway, their 2 tropes are friends to lovers and soulmates. Oh, I do love a good friends to lovers. And then lastly, the Pirate team, their subgenre, surprise, surprise, is a pirate romance. Their 2 tropes are forced proximity and hidden identity. I'm reading a bit of a hidden identity book right now that's a historical romance, so a little ahead of myself. But I picked the Cinderella team because I feel like I have a fair bit of historical romances with the class difference tropes. I'm trying to strategize, okay? I feel like that is a pretty popular trope that I come across in historical romances, so using my noggin. Next on the agenda, I want to quickly talk about challenges. So Crystal is gonna be posting throughout the weeks challenges on the Discord and on the Instagram account for us to do for bonus points. The first one, which we can all do ahead of May 1st, is posting our TBRs for the Readathon. So you can post that on Instagram, you can post that on YouTube, you can post it in the Discord. So that is an easy way to kickstart your points and get the ball rolling with the Readathon. I don't know all of the challenges. She wants to keep it a surprise for the co-hosts as well, so I think that's really fun. And to get your points, you have to make sure you log them by Saturday, 11:59 p.m. EST. So I assume she releases the challenge like Sunday, Monday, and then you have the entire week before you need to submit it for the points. If you miss it for that week, oopsie daisy, I guess. Now let's talk about the most exciting part, which is the giveaway. So the team that wins, their prize is bragging rights. We all love bragging rights, but there is a real giveaway at the end. So there are going to be 3 lucky winners that are going to be pulled from a pool comprised of everybody that participated. So as long as you fill out the form saying that you're in the Readathon, like all that documentation is going to be linked below, you're going to be in the pool of potential giveaway winners. I'm pretty sure that is correct, okay? And it's not just like the winning team. Crystal is going to be selecting 3 winners to get some beautiful hardcover historical romance. It's not just one. When she explained it to me, she flashed up 2 books per prize. So that is very generous and very nice. Currently, she only has it open for US and Canada winners with all the drama with the tariffs and stuff. Like, we're not super sure what's going on and if that's going to affect international shipping or whatever. So for right now, she's just doing it for US and Canada, but she will keep everybody informed if that changes. So definitely still log even if you're outside of those 2 countries, just in case she's able to ship it to you down the line. Now let's go into the most difficult section to explain, which is the points. I have the graphic up on my phone. I will pop it up for you as well so you can read along with me. And I also have Crystal's notes of what she explained to me via a video. It gets a little confusing, but I'm gonna do my best to be clear on everything because you wanna strategize your TBRs, right? You wanna get as many points as you can if you can help it, right? First, I'll start off by saying that the points are gonna be averaged out per amount of people on each team, if that makes sense, right? So if the Cinderellas have 100 participants and the Pirates have 150 participants, the total amount of points for the Cinderellas will be divided over 100, and the Pirates, their points will be divided over 150 to make it fair. So the first thing to know about the points is that it's a 1-to-1 ratio, points per page read. So if you read a 500-page book, you'll get 500 points. If you read 200 pages of a 500-page book and then DNF it, you can get 200 pages for reading 200 pages even though you didn't finish the book. That can still count for you, which I think is so generous and awesome. You're not wasting your time if you didn't finish the book when it comes to the readathon. Next, you'll get 300 points for reading a historical romance. If you look further down, you get 50 points if you read just a romance. If it's not historical and it's a plain romance, you can get 50 points, but I don't think that necessarily like adds on top of if you're reading a historical romance. It's not like you get 350 points, I don't think. So a little complicated there, not super sure how the formula will work, but if you read just a romance and it's not historical, you're still getting points on the board. If you read outside of historical romance or romance and it's just like a regular fiction or nonfiction book, I don't think there are any points for you. Unless you're hitting some of these other criteria, okay? I'm like laughing at you, I'm sorry. That was unnecessary. Here's where it gets a little bit complicated. So you will get 150 points if you read your team character. So for me, I have to read like a Cinderella type book where like it's this heroine or hero that's like impoverished or something and they meet this like rich prince or princess like person. You know what I mean? That's the vibe I get. Same with the Governess, time traveler, or pirate. If you're on that team and you read a character with those characteristics, you'll get 150 points. Now, if you jump down to the bottom again, you will get 25 points if you read a different team's character or any of their tropes, right? I'll go into that a little bit more. So if I read a pirate romance, I won't get 150 because I'm not on the pirate team, but I will get 25 points. Again, a bit complicated, but I'm pretty sure this is automatically going to be calculated. But again, for your planning's sake, we're going through it. Next, you will get 100 points if you read your team's subgenre. So that is the first description under the character's name. So for my Cinderella team, it's a fairy tale retelling, obviously dark gothic, time travel, and pirate / at sea. The thing that's a little funny about the Cinderella one, Cinderella is already going to be a retelling if you're reading a Cinderella character, but if you read a retelling that isn't based on Cinderella, you will get the 100 points instead of the full 150 points. Can you double up on that? If I read a Cinderella, does it count as reading a fairy tale retelling at the same time? I don't know, because I'm sure you could read like a Governess story without it necessarily being dark and gothic. So let's just say if you read a Cinderella retelling, it might really count as 250 points right off the bat. That's pretty nice. Now, if you read one of your team's tropes, you will get 75 points. Each team has 2 tropes, so if your book contains both of those tropes, you get 150 points total, so 75 times 2. Okay? Again, if you look down at the bottom, that same line item, if you read a different team's trope, you will get 25 points. You're not going to be able to double them up. So if you read a book that has both of another team's tropes, you can't add them to be 50 points. It'll just be a flat 25. I know this for sure because Crystal said this to me exclusively. Now we move into this lower section here. You will get 50 points if you read a BIPOC author, and you will get a separate 50 points if there is BIPOC rep in it. So if you read a book about Black characters by a Black author, you can get 100 points total for that one book. Similarly, for LGBTQIA+, you can get 50 points for reading a LGBTQ author, and then an additional / separate 50 points for reading a book with that rep. If the book has both, then you get a combined 100 points. Now imagine if you read a book by a queer BIPOC author with a queer BIPOC rep book. That's 200 points. So let me know if you find one of those. That'd be great. The bonus one, apparently, which I think is really cool, is if you read a historical romance that has a setting outside of England or Scotland, you can get an additional 25 points. And Crystal put this because typically in historical romances, they take place in England and Scotland. Like, that seems to be the main place. But lucky for me, I have a handful of Bev Jenkins books, and I'm pretty sure they don't take place there. The 2 that I've read by her, I think I've read 2 or maybe more, they've all taken place in America. So I'm gonna be in America, girl. I'm gonna be getting that extra 25. And that's like pretty much it for the points. It's a little bit complicated. I might not have gotten everything perfectly right, but to the best of my understanding and what has been explained to me at this point in time, I'm trying to think, is there anything else? I think that's it. All right, so that is all the information that I have on the Readathon. I hope to see you there. It should be a fun time. I'm excited to finally have an excuse to read all of these historicals. I have a ton of historicals in mind on my library app as well. Always good to use your library and read from your physical collection if you can help it. Obviously, I love KU, so if there are things that have been on your KU TBR for a while that are historical romances that you've been like needing an excuse to read for, like, this is the perfect opportunity, guys. So looking forward to seeing you on the Discord and chatting books for nearly the entire month of May. That's all I have for today's video. If you enjoyed it, please feel free to leave it a thumbs up and subscribe down below if you haven't already. I would greatly appreciate it, and obviously it helps out my channel. And I will catch you in another video. Bye!